I'm Caitlyn Clark, and we are here to talk about women that have inspired me to become myself.
Have you ever seen an athlete completely change an entire sport before even hitting the prime? In just a few months, Caitlyn Clark has gone from a rookie trying to find her rhythm in the WNBA to a cultural powerhouse, redefining what it means to be an athlete in a modern era. This is about how she went from shooting threes in Iowa to breaking every business rule in professional sports. It all started quietly, with a short interview that exploded online overnight. This time, it wasn't about buzzer beaters or record-breaking threes. It was Caitlyn sitting down and opening up. No bright lights, no roaring crowds, just her voice, honest and grounded. She talked about her mom, how when she got hurt, the first person she called wasn't a coach or a manager, it was her mom.
I feel like my mom has always kind of been my rock. The first person I called when I got hurt this year was my mom. I'm like, can you fly here and cook me a meal and just spend time with me? And that is just the person that makes you feel safe. And I probably took that for granted as a kid, but my mom always made the best meals. I think it's important to take time for yourself. And I think also when I do have free time, one of my escapes is cooking a healthy meal for myself, whether that's, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I really do enjoy that. Just putting on music and making a home cooked meal. And I think that's because it feels like a safe place for myself, because that's kind of what I grew up on.
Simple Request showed a side of her that fans hadn't seen before. Behind all the fame and chaos, she's still that same girl who finds comfort in family. She said it reminds her of home, of where everything started, and in a world that's constantly pulling her in every direction. That sense of home is what keeps her balanced. She also talked about her old coach, Lisa Blutter, not just about basketball, but about life.
Coach Blutter has had a great impact on my life. We've been able to stay in close contact over the course of my career. Now, obviously, I've been away for 2 years, and she has now since retired. But I think one thing that was probably super impactful on myself and all of my teammates is we always had a breast cancer game or a cancer game, and she would always bring in cancer survivors that got to kind of tell their story, but also the impact our team had on people and how much joy we could bring to them, because those people were huge Iowa women's basketball fans, and them getting to spend a day with us meant the world to them. So I think it put great perspective not only on basketball, but what we get to do for other people.
It wasn't just about competition anymore. It was about connection. It made her realize that the influence athletes have is bigger than the game itself. Then she mentioned something that really stood out: her partnership with Eli Lilly, the health company based in Indianapolis.
I think my partnership with Lilly, more than anything, first of all, they care about women's sports, which is incredibly important to me. And now getting to play in Indianapolis and them being based here, it feels like a pretty natural partnership. On our jerseys, we wear the Lilly patch, so I feel pretty lucky and fortunate to be able to work with them.
And when she talked about her idols, her eyes lit up. Maya Moore was her hero growing up. Seeing Maya courtside at one of her games was a dream come true.
Maya Moore was definitely my favorite basketball player growing up, male or female. Getting to meet her and watch her play in a game for the first time is probably one of the greatest memories of my childhood, truly. And when Maya Moore did come and watch me at Iowa, it was a surprise. She was sitting courtside, and just to have somebody you grew up wanting to be take time out of their day to come and support you. And she was inducted to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, and the way she talked about team culture and how much that meant to her, and being a team player and how impactful that can be on your life is so true. And being on teams that have been really good, how true that is and how much that meant to her, and throughout the course of her career, it's just an easy person to be able to cheer for.
And then there's that little picture book she loved as a kid, Winners Never Quit by Mia Hamm.
My favorite book growing up, it was Winners Never Quit, this picture book, and it was about Mia Hamm. And I remember when I would read books before I went to bed with my parents, that was the one I always wanted to pick. The resiliency she had, that's the whole story of the book, and what USA Women's Soccer did for not only female athletes, but women in general, and how much they brought people together. That's just been her ability, is just really to inspire people and to give back. And I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for them, because they were the people that inspired me to want to play in the first place, or want to work hard and achieve everything that I wanted to achieve. If it wasn't for those people that have kind of inspired me, I certainly don't think I would be able to play in front of a sold-out crowd every single night and have young girls and young boys screaming and wearing my jersey. Like, those are moments you never take for granted.
Caitlyn said that story shaped who she became, and now she's living proof of it. Because what Caitlyn's doing goes way beyond basketball. It's not just that she's breaking records, she's breaking systems. In her first season, she became the WNBA's biggest draw almost overnight. Every arena she played in sold out. Viewership spiked into the millions. Kids started showing up wearing her jersey. Parents who'd never watched women's basketball before suddenly cared. That's the Caitlyn Clark effect, when one person's energy lifts an entire sport. Even other sports are feeling it. Golf tournaments saw viewership spikes after she appeared. Ice Cube offered her $5 million to join his Big Three league for just 3 months. But Caitlyn said no. She wasn't chasing a quick payday. She was playing a long game. Because here's the thing. On paper, her WNBA salary is tiny. $76,000 a year. That's less than some mid-level corporate jobs. But off the court, Caitlyn's already made more than $10 million in brand deals, appearances, and sponsorships. Companies are paying her 6 figures just to speak for half an hour. And she's worth every penny because she doesn't just promote products, she moves culture. Nike signed her to an 8-year deal reportedly worth $28 million. Wilson handed her a historic partnership to create her own line of basketballs. The first time any female player's been given that honor since Michael Jordan. State Farm brought her into their legendary, like a good neighbor campaign. And she's still just 22. But that's where the conversation now takes a wild turn. Because the real question everyone's asking is, how rich is she really? Is Caitlyn Clark already a billionaire? No, not yet. But she's closer than most athletes ever get this early in their careers. Right now, conservative estimates place her net worth between $12 million and $15 million. That's in just over a year of turning pro. Compare that to where LeBron or Steph were at 22, and she's on pace to out-earn both of them by her late 20s if her brand keeps growing at the same rate. See, Caitlyn's different from most rookies. She's not relying on league money. She's building an ecosystem. She has income from sponsorships, partnerships, licensing, appearances, investments, and merchandise sales. Every time her name trends, that brand value compounds. And she's about to hit a major turning point that could make her the youngest self-made billionaire athlete in history. It all starts with something called Project B. Project B is the new women's basketball league that came knocking on her door recently. They offer her a $1 million salary plus equity, a real ownership stake in the league itself. It's not just about playing basketball. It's about owning part of the future of the sport. If she accepts that deal, she's not just making money, she's building wealth. Equity is what separates millionaires from billionaires. And Caitlyn knows it. She turned the first offer down because the timing wasn't right. But insiders say Project B is restructuring, aiming to make her not just a player, but a founding partner. If she takes that updated offer, she'd instantly have equity worth several $1 million. And that's just the beginning. Add to that her pending endorsement opportunities, rumors of new deals with tech companies, streaming platforms, and lifestyle brands. And it's clear she's one or two smart moves away from entering billionaire territory. Think about it. She's already the face of Nike, Wilson, and State Farm. If she adds, say, Apple Fitness or Amazon Sports to her portfolio, she's not just part of the sports economy anymore. She's shaping the culture economy. Let's break it down. Between her Nike deal, Wilson royalties, State Farm commercials, speaking fees, and appearances, she's on pace to earn around $20 million to $25 million a year before taxes. If Project B gives her a 2% to 3% equity stake in a league valued at even $500 million, a realistic figure once sponsors and investors jump in. That's $10 million to $15 million in assets immediately added to her portfolio. Multiply that with compounding investments, stock partnerships, and global marketing exposure, and you're looking at someone who could cross the billion-dollar mark within 7 to 10 years. And she's doing all this while still in her early 20s. To put in perspective, Serena Williams hit her first $100 million in career earnings after nearly 2 decades in tennis. Tiger Woods became a billionaire at 46. Caitlyn could reach that level before she's 30. But what makes this story even more powerful is that she's earning it her way. No shortcuts, no viral stunts, just authenticity and purpose. She's not just building wealth for herself. She's changing how women's sports are valued across the board. Brands that once ignored female athletes are now scrambling to get in line. There's also talk of a signature shoe finally being in development with Nike. If that happens, and it will, it could be the final piece of the puzzle. Think about the impact Jordan's Air Jordan line had in the 1980s. Caitlyn's signature shoe could spark the same revolution for women's basketball, and the timing couldn't be better. Her fan base is young, loyal, and global. Every kid who's watched her play wants to be her. That's $1 billion market just waiting to explode. Industry analysts already predict that a Caitlyn Clark signature line, shoes, apparel, accessories, could easily generate $200 million in its first year. If Nike lets her take even a 10% cut of that revenue, that's another $20 million added to her annual income stream. Combine that with her existing deals, plus possible new partnerships with tech or streaming platforms, and the billionaire math starts adding up fast. And here's the kicker. Caitlyn's brand isn't limited to sports anymore. She's starting to move into lifestyle and entertainment. Networks are reportedly competing for documentary rights to her story. Netflix, Amazon Prime, and even Disney Plus have expressed interest. A Caitlyn Clark docuseries would attract millions of viewers and could bring in another multi-million-dollar payday. She's also quietly invested in a few startups focused on wellness and sports technology. Her financial team is building what they call the Clark portfolio, a mix of equity stakes, long-term royalties, and partnerships designed to create generational wealth. That's the playbook billionaires use, and she's already following it. If you look at the numbers, everything lines up. Within the next 3 years, her net worth could exceed $100 million. By her late 20s, with brand expansions, equity growth, and shoe royalties, that number could jump to $500 million. Add in media rights, her own foundation, and global brand licensing, and $1 billion valuation becomes not just possible, but likely. And all of this is happening because Caitlyn understands something most athletes never grasp. Fame fades, but ownership lasts. She's not just building a career, she's building an empire. So no, Caitlyn Clark isn't a billionaire yet, but she's standing at the doorstep, and she's got the keys in her hand. If she decides to take Project B, launches her signature shoe, and locks in just a few more endorsements, she could easily become the youngest self-made billionaire in sports history. It's wild to think that a kid who once read winners never quit before bed might soon become the first woman to rewrite the business of basketball entirely. From Iowa gyms to packed WNBA arenas, from cooking in her kitchen to negotiating multi-million-dollar contracts, Caitlyn Clark has shown that greatness isn't just about scoring points. It's about knowing your worth and playing the long game. And she's doing it all on her own terms. So the next time someone asks if the Caitlyn Clark hype is real, remember this. She's not just making history on the court. She's creating the blueprint for every young athlete who dreams of turning their talent into lasting legacy. Because Caitlyn Clark isn't chasing a billionaire title. She's building one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rise of Caitlyn Clark and the business empire she's creating, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real stories behind the headlines. Let's keep hyping up the game and the people who are changing it for good.